can't let her name fade out. Justice for Romeca. Everybody screaming her name now. Pink light, city nights, candles in the air all night. Justice for Romeca. We still riding.
We are definitely still riding for Romeca. How is everybody doing? I know it's been a minute, and I do apologize, but I have been extremely busy. So, what I want to talk about is accountability. Let's talk about the accountability.
Too many sleepless nights. Now child gotta grow up without his mama in his life.
When did we as society start pretending that adults don't have to take accountability for their situations that they willingly participated in?
Say her name louder.
I've been watching people rewrite history and paint one woman as an innocent victim who lived in fear every single day. But when you look at the timeline and publicly discuss facts, some of the pieces just don't fit together. So let's talk about it. Now, if someone tells you they were terrified of another person, wouldn't you expect their actions to reflect fear? Because, honey, fear has a funny way of showing itself. Fear doesn't typically seek out conflict. Fear doesn't usually insert itself into complicated situations voluntarily. Now, we know there were two women involved, Romeca and Quadajah Johnson, a.k.a. Holly. Now, they were both involved with the same man, which was Carlos. And by many accounts, there were communications and conflicts between all parties over time. Now, these women went back and forth on social media, by phone, made videos, and there were insults exchanged. This wasn't a one-side story where one woman existed and the other woman was hiding under her bed in fear. Now, the question I have is this. If you are genuinely afraid of someone, why do you call them first? Why do you introduce yourself and announce that you're in the picture? Why do you disclose personal information about your pregnancy during those conversations? Why continue to engage? Now, let's talk about Carlos for a minute, because somehow he has become the invisible man in all this. Carlos was allegedly telling one woman one thing and another woman something else. The common denominator in all this drama was Carlos. And ladies, let me talk to you for a minute. If a man can get two women arguing over information that he's feeding both of them, he isn't winning. You both are losing. Now, here's another thing people conveniently forget. There were opportunities throughout this timeline when these women were in close proximity to one another and nothing happened. Romeca came to Carlos' home while Holly was upstairs. No altercation. Romeca came to pick up her child at a park while Holly was there. No altercation. There were occasions where they occupied the same space without violence. So, if someone was supposedly hunting another person down every chance they got, why weren't those opportunities taken? Hey, it's just a legitimate question. Let's also talk about the restraining order, because people throw that around as if it's some kind of magical shield that automatically proves one person was an innocent victim. No. A restraining order is not finding that every allegation made in a petition is true. Courts can issue orders by default when the respondent party does not appear or otherwise participate. The existence of an order by itself does not tell the story of relationship and conflict between two individuals. People hear restraining order immediately stop asking questions. I'm the opposite. I start asking questions. Were both parties communicating? Yes, they were. Were both parties participant in social media drama? Yes, they were. Did both parties know about one another long before the tragedy occurred? Yes. Were there previous interactions where no violence took place? Yes. Those questions matter, people. And here's something else. If someone is afraid for their life, why would they park across from a child's school that they know belongs to one person's child? Come on, she knows Romeca child went to that school. She even put it in court documents. Okay? So, again, that's not me telling you what to believe. That's me asking whether the actions line up with the narrative. Because action speaks louder than a statement. Another thing people don't want to discuss is jealousy. Now, I cannot tell you what was in anyone's heart. None of us can. But jealousy is a very real human emotion. And complicated relationships often involve hurt feelings, insecurities, and competition. People have publicly discussed lifestyles, careers, social media personas, and relationship dynamics surrounding the individuals involved. What I can say is this. Being involved with a man who's entertaining multiple women rarely ends when healthy boundaries doesn't exist. The tragedy here is that someone along the way, two women became opponents while the man at the center of the conflict continued living his life. Ladies, stop auditioning for positions in a man confusion. Everybody screaming. If he has you competing, you already lost. Candles in the air. And finally, I want to say this because I think it's important. You don't get into a voluntary participate in years of drama, engage in conversations, make videos, exchange insults, and insert yourself into a situation and then expect not to ask questions when things end tragically. Questions are not hate. Accountability is not bullying. Critical thinking is not harassment. People are allowed to examine timelines, compare statement with actions, and discuss publicly available information. At the end of the day, one person lost her life. A child lost his mother's. Families were forever changed. This isn't about choosing a team, people. It's about choosing truth, accountability, and asking the question that some people don't want to ask. Because if the facts are on your side, you should never be afraid of the questions. Fear doesn't usually dial your number first. Fear doesn't announce itself. Fear doesn't volunteer front row seats in drama. And accountability doesn't disappear just because a narrative sounds better than a timeline.
Everybody screaming her name now.
Another thing I definitely want to discuss is this U-turn that I keep hearing about. If she wouldn't have made a U-turn, if she would have went to work. For months, I heard people say Romeca saw Holly and Carlos by her son's school and made a U-turn. Okay. All right, let's just say she did. The question isn't whether she made a U-turn. The question is why. Because people automatically want you to believe that if she made a U-turn, it means she was hunting somebody down. That's an assumption, people, not a fact. Let's use common sense for a minute. Which I know common sense ain't so common, but let's try to use your common sense. If I'm dropping my child off at school and I see my child's father sitting outside with another woman that I had years of drama with, wouldn't I have questions? Would I be surprised? Would I be upset? Would I say, are you serious? I just dropped my child off. According to a witness testimony, that has been discussed publicly. A witness reportedly heard Romeca say, are you serious? I just dropped off my child. Now, stop right there. Because that statement matters. Because that's not the statement of someone saying, I came here looking for you. I've been following you. I'm about to kill somebody. That's the statement of someone expressing disbelief or frustration about what she just saw after dropping her child off. Ask yourself this. If Romeca knew Holly had supposedly been so afraid of her for years, why would Holly be sitting outside of her son's school in the first place? Let's keep it real. If I had a restraining order against someone and I'm terrified for my life, I'm not voluntarily placing myself in any environment where I know I'm likely to encounter that person, especially somewhere connected to their child. And here's another thing nobody want to talk about. If Holly was truly afraid of Romeca, why was she laughing, smiling, and enjoying the drama when Carlos was allegedly playing both sides? Where was all this fear when they were making videos? They were having phone conversations. They were discussing one another on social media. Romeca came to Carlos' home while Holly was upstairs. Romeca came to pick up her son at the park while Holly was there. Nothing happened, people. Nothing. But now we're supposed to believe that a mother seeing her child's father near her son's school automatically means she went there looking to hurt somebody? Come on, people. No. There are other reasonable explanations. Maybe she was upset. Maybe she was confused. Maybe she wanted answers. Maybe she was shocked. Human emotions don't automatically equal criminal intent. And can we please stop pretending that mothers aren't protective when it comes to their children. If I just dropped my child off at school and saw ongoing drama involving my child's father parked nearby, I may have some questions too. The problem with social media is the people hear she made a U-turn and fill in the rest of the stories themselves. But the fact matter, a U-turn is not a crime. Being upset is not a crime. Being surprised is not a crime. The question is, what happened after that? And that's exactly why the legal process exists. Everybody can keep talking about the U-turn, but nobody talks about the sentence that came with it. Are you serious? I just dropped off my child. Context changed everything. You can't take one piece of the timeline and ignore the rest simply because it fits your narrative. Another thing I want to talk about is I keep hearing Holly's free. No, she's not. Let's stop using that word we don't understand. Free means you wake up and do whatever you want to do. Free means you don't answer to the courts. Free means no conditions, no restrictions, and no one monitoring your movements. That is not what happened here. If someone is released under pretrial conditions, they are still facing serious criminal charges and are still subject to whatever restrictions the court imposes. The criminal case doesn't disappear because someone walks out of jail. Let's be honest about something else. The Holly that walked into jail in December of 2025 is not the same Holly that walked out on July 16th, 2026. You don't spend months sitting in jail facing a first-degree murder charge and come out the exact same person. Whether people support her or not, jail changes people. Sitting with your thoughts changes people. Missing holidays, missing families, and living with the uncertainty of what comes next changes people. Now, people want to post the celebration pictures and scream, God did it. But nobody want to talk about the emotional, mental, and legal reality of what she's still facing. The case isn't over. Not even close. And here's something that caught my attention. I heard discussions about why Holly can't do Zoom. Candles in the air all night. Justice for Romeca. Now, in my opinion, Holly asked her lawyer to ask the judge if she can do Zoom. You know why? In my opinion, again, she's not the same person. She don't want to be out and about. Okay? To me, she wants to do the Zoom just like she did when she got that restraining order. She is not the same person, people. Now, to me, by that even coming up and even asking the judge, makes me think, has she truly grasped the seriousness of these charges? I don't think she have. And that's just my opinion. I don't think she have grasped the seriousness of these charges.
Justice for Romeca.
Because we're not talking about a traffic ticket or a social media dispute. We're talking about first-degree murder prosecution. This isn't Instagram Live. This isn't a three-way phone call. This isn't social media drama. This is real life. Somewhere along the way, social media has caused people to forget that criminal court isn't a reality show. There are no winner's circles, people. No championship belts. No victory laps. While a murder case is still pending. And I think some people are still living in denial. The supporters are in denial. The family is in denial. And some of social media is in denial. People are acting like the final chapter has been written when we're still in the middle of the book. Now, let's all remember about that regardless of where anyone stands on this case, one thing remains true. A young mother lost her life. A child lost his mother. And families on both sides have been forever changed. Nothing about that is worth celebrating, people. You can support your loved one. You can pray for your loved one. You can hope for the best possible legal outcome for your loved one. But celebrating as if the case has vanished is misleading. There are still court dates. There are still legal proceedings. There are still serious allegations before the court. And if Holly this bothers me because
say your name. Justice for Romeca. Yeah. Can't let a name fade out.
Holly has been released under conditions. That isn't freedom. That's simply a different place to wait while the justice system continues to do its job. That's it. That's all. People keep saying Holly is free. No, she's not. She's accountable to the court, accountable to the conditions of her release, and accountable to the legal process that's still unfolding. Jail may have opened one door, but the courtroom door is still wide open. This isn't the end of the story, people. It isn't simply the end of one chapter. Something's got to give, and eventually the truth always does. Please comment below, like, share, subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, enjoy your Sunday. Good night, all.